Hey everyone, I'm Fernanda. If you know anything about me, it's that I love my OCs. They are my everything, they're my children, and so I love doing anything that'll indulge my obsession with them. I don't know why, but lately I've had the sudden urge to animate them. I need them to move, I need them to feel real. I've done a few animatics with them before in the past, but I really wanted to attempt making a short animation of them. Many of you guys may not know this, but I'm actually majoring in animation. That doesn't mean I have a lot of experience with it though. My experience with animation has been through tweening and 3D animation, not 2D. I will be taking 2D classes in my next semester though, so I'm looking very forward to that. And aside from that, I've only ever done really short animations, like 3 seconds at most. And so I decided to try and learn animation in order to make a short scene of my OCs to fulfill my wish, which I'll be sharing with you guys today, so let's get started. Since this is my very first proper attempt at showing a scene through animation, I knew I wouldn't do anything too crazy or long, so don't expect a short film or anything. I didn't want to be too hard on myself right off the bat, so I started off with attempting something small. The little experience I have with animation is with scenes no longer than 3 seconds, so as you can see, it's not a lot, so don't use this video as a tutorial or anything, cause honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. My intrusive thoughts just got the best of me, making me want to learn animation. The last time I attempted to animate something was for my Just Be Competent video where I drew Toga swinging her arms. And before that, it had been almost a year since I've tried animating. I remember my first proper attempt at animating was for my Good Girl Bad Girl video I did with Nami and Robin. I was really proud of this at the time and even to this day don't think it's too bad. But I struggled so much while animating that. And so in order to prepare for this, I had searched up a few tutorials online in order to help me out. The first step I had to do was decide what scene I wanted to animate in the first place. Thankfully, like any other normal person, I daydream a lot about my OCs, so it's safe to say that I had options. I ended up going with a scene that would show Melanie freaking out over picture day since she wants to make a great impression believing that by having a bad photo that nobody would want to talk to her. And meanwhile, Nova just doesn't care and thinks that she's overreacting. This is actually a small portion of a longer scenario I have in my head. The full scenario would have taken way longer to do, so I just stuck with this small segment that I think would still work. Before I continue though, I feel like I should explain my OCs to the people who might not know them. Nova and Melanie are twins from 2005 who have supernatural abilities. Nova has the ability to copy anyone's appearance and ability, while Melanie can manipulate and control her hair. There's more to them, but in the context of this video, that's all the basics you have to know about them. Now onto the second step, which was doing a rough storyboard on what I wanted the animation to look like. I wanted 5 main scenes which would serve as the base for the animation. The first one shows Melanie struggling to decide on what to wear while Nova says that she's overreacting and that it's just a dumb picture anyways. The second scene would be a continuation of Nova talking, then suddenly getting yanked by Melanie's hair, which would continue onto the next scene of Melanie freaking out on him, which causes her hair to uncontrollably grow. And while we're at it, here's a fun fact about Melanie. Her roots start to show the more her hair grows, which I think is really cute and wanted to show during this next scene, which shows Melanie's frantic explanation on how important picture day is, which will then cut to the last scene of Nova just accepting it. I really wanted to make it look like Melanie was in a rush by having her have mismatched earrings on trying to decide which one looks better, while Nova looks like he's just woken up not too long ago. I was really excited about this idea. And so while storyboarding these scenes, I got a huge burst of motivation to keep going. And so I ended up drawing a rough draft with the animations included, which wasn't the plan. Like I said, I only wanted to draw the 5 main scenes and figure out the rest later. But honestly, this was definitely the smarter decision since I was able to get a good idea on how I wanted the final result to look. I didn't do any major complicated movements, but regardless, I was really proud of the rough draft. It was a little fast though, which I didn't like since I was planning on adding subtitles to it showing what the characters are saying. And so during the line art process, I decided to add a few more frames in order to slow it down and make it easier to read. This takes me to my next step, which was line art and color. This one was pretty simple. All I did was go over the sketches I did, and like I mentioned earlier, I added a few more frames to not make the animation feel too rushed. As for the coloring, I kept that really simple, only doing base colors with a bit of shading on the neck. I didn't want to do too much and still really like how the base colors look. During the rough draft I did earlier, I had added mouth movements to really make it look like they're talking. I had no plans on actually having voices for them, but I just felt like the scene would look awkward having their mouths not move. So realistically, the mouth movements wouldn't match what they're saying, but that's okay, since in the end this is purely for my enjoyment. While doing this step, however, I realized that I hadn't drawn a background yet. Well, to be fair, my original draft didn't have a background either, but the scene just felt empty without it, and so I decided to add it, which I am very happy about because it just makes it feel more legit to me. The scene would be played out in Melanie's room, and so I wanted to make it look as cute as possible. I don't have room designs for them yet, and have only drawn Melanie's room once, which I changed in this animation. Will I stick with this design though? I don't know. But while drawing this background, it made me want to come up with official room designs for them. I don't know, I feel like you can learn a lot about a character based on their room. I did run into a bit of a problem during this process though. I used quite a bit of layers while drawing and don't like merging them together in case I mess up in some way. And so because of this, I started accumulating more and more layers. I had about 50 frames in total, which each had about 10 to 20 layers in them depending on the scene, and so my Procreate started to become a bit more buggy and slowed down a bit. This has never happened before, and so I'm pretty sure it's because of all the layers I had. But honestly, I don't know. I could have just merged them together, but like I said, I'm a very cautious person and didn't want to merge them only to end up messing up somehow. I pushed through it though, but I won't lie when I say that it started getting a little annoying. That's totally on me though. Finally, I edited everything together and added the text to it so that it would give better context. I would export each of the main scenes once I would finish them, and so that's why I had to edit them together. Technically, I could have just exported all the scenes together from Procreate, but for some reason, this method made me feel more organized. Seeing everything come together made me feel so freaking happy, and just seeing them move, even if it's just by a little, made me feel really proud of myself. Yeah, the video has no sound, but that's okay. Me and my sister were actually joking around by saying that we'd do the voices ourselves. But we're no professionals and can't take ourselves seriously, so realistically, it would not end well. Regardless, I'm still really proud of how this turned out, especially since, like I said earlier, I have little to no experience with animation. So taking that into consideration, I think this turned out quite alright. It might still be a bit too fast though, I'm not sure. If any of you guys are more experienced with animation, I'd love and appreciate any tips on how to improve. Doing this really solidified my love and urge to learn animation, and so I'm really excited to keep improving. Who knows, maybe one day in the future I might recreate this and see how far I've come. And so that was my experience trying to properly animate for the first time. It's not perfect and a little stiff, but I love it. Next time I want to make something smoother and a bit more polished. Regardless, I had a lot of fun doing this, and so hopefully you guys enjoyed watching my process. I hope I haven't made any professional animators too frustrated with the way I did things. I kinda just winged it with the small knowledge I had learned beforehand from all the online videos, but regardless, I had a good time. Well, to be fair, anything revolving around my OCs will make me happy, but I'm still excited to continue to learn. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a great day.